I can't tell you how many times I go into an upscale home and see moldings of inappropriate scale, size. Tom, you must see the same thing.
Jerry, I do all the time. In fact, the first thing I do is I start looking around the house at what kind of trim is involved.
I walk in, I see 2 1/4 colonial, beaded colonial, or even the typical OG base.
Frankly, I even saw it in my own house. My powder room was something that was a real challenge for me because I didn't have a lot of space between the wall and the door casing. But what I was able to do, I did have the room to kind of beef it up a bit with this little back band. It also gave me some additional depth that I was able to die right into a chair rail.
Chair rail, something possibly like this. You're able to just die that right into the side. And without that, of course, if you try to add it, it's going to end up sticking out. It's just not going to look right.
That's right. There's a case of mismatched trim, which I have seen in somebody's home.
Absolutely. And Tom, I'll sometimes go into a family room or dining room or living room and I'll see an underscaled crown molding used around the entire room. You know, you could find one large crown like this or step it up a bit with adding an inverted baseboard detail, and you could add a nice little bead detail to the bottom of it. You could actually take it and add another OG detail and really step it up with a 3-piece crown. Or we could take an OG baseboard such as this, invert that as well, and create a nice 2-piece crown molding detail. Tom, how about chair rail?
A couple of different ideas there, Jerry. One for a very formal room. I kind of like this 2-piece look. It's very chunky. A back band set, and then you would place the actual chair rail right on top of the back band. So you can see how in a formal dining room you can, for not a lot of money, add a lot of richness to the room. And then for, you know, adding, again, chair rail for rooms that aren't quite as formal, I kind of like these smaller ones. I've done it in all my kids' rooms. You know, again, for usually less than $1 a foot, you can get some finger jointed material and really dress up a room and, and you know, add some paint color detail in a room.
Right, this is actually a good point to mention. This actually gives a nice point to delineate colors on a wall. You could have the lower portion of the wall possibly in a darker color, and then your trim color, and then a lighter color on the upper section.
Jerry, let me tell you about one other idea that you can use paint for, kind of tying in the chair rail idea and the delineation of color and the crown molding. And what I've done in my kids' room is I took one of these smaller crowns and put it on the wall. Then I just took some very inexpensive panel molding and put it about 4 inches below.
Okay.
And then I would paint in the trim color from the bottom of the panel molding to the top of the crown. So the drywall in between the 2 spaces is painted trim color. Gives a very rich look for not a lot of money.
You know, the 3 1/4 OG base is pretty much the mainstay in homes today. I think it'd be great if people would start thinking about larger scaled moldings. Here's a beautiful, I think it's about a 5-inch OG molding. The shoe molding looks quite nice. And another detail is taking actually a doorstop molding as a shoe molding. And that's, of course, a very nice detail. We can take flat stock and introduce the OG profile to it. So if your home is molding challenged, come down to Doylestown Lumber, pick up some samples, see how they look in your own home, and I think you'll find some great answers. Thanks again, Tom.
Great to see you again, Jeff.
You too.